I'm sorry. Liam, what are you doing? It's not funny making jokes about this.
But it's true. Look at his arm. He has a scar, the same as mine.
Natalie was 19, drunk and deliriously happy that night. She was going to marry Nick, the love of her life, the very next day. It was much later when Natalie felt the bed sink under Nick's weight. His heavy hand pulled her close.
Come close.
No, let me go. We have to wait.
I can't.
Natalie wanted her wedding night to be her first time, but things were spiraling out of control, fast. When she woke up in the morning, she couldn't help but smile. She heard Nick taking a shower in the bathroom and had half a mind to join him when she heard a knock on the door. Who she saw on the door left her gasping for air.
Nick?
Natalie was dumbfounded. If Nick was here, who was in the shower? She couldn't bear to stay in this room even a second longer. She hurriedly picked up her clothes from the floor and rushed home. But bigger surprises awaited her.
How? How could you do that?
Natalie's father, Tom, was furious. She knew she wasn't going to get any support from her family either.
Nick, I need you.
No, you don't. There will be no wedding.
Natalie couldn't believe her ears. Natalie started panicking as tears rolled down her cheeks.
Cheryl, it's not my fault. Believe me, please.
I believe you, honey.
For a second, Cheryl gave her hope before she brought out her wretched phone, and Natalie started to get her answers. She was set up. Her life was ruined by her own sister. Meanwhile, in his office at the Claire Group, Bryce was looking at his assistant with a malicious expression. He had just received proof that last night he was set up. He was drugged and sent to a different room than the one he had booked for himself. The girl had been brought in the same room earlier that night, and she too seemed drugged. Under the influence, Bryce and that girl had lost their senses and couldn't suppress their desires.
But why?
Because I want to marry Nick.
Natalie's world had fallen apart. Her stepsister was in love with her fiancé, and she was ready to go to any lengths to have him. She rushed forward hysterically and wrapped her hands around Cheryl's neck. Hearing the commotion, her father rushed out angrily.
It was her! She set me up! How dare you accuse my daughter of anything? You're just as wild as your mother was.
From now on, she's no longer my daughter.
Bryce told his assistant to go and check the identity of the woman who was in the room, but the assistant couldn't find her because at the same time, Natalie was being sent away. But one question kept nagging her. Who was the man she had slept with the night before? 9 years had passed since she had been exiled. Last night, she had received a call from him asking her to come back. He didn't give any reason. He just said it was urgent now.
Mom, hurry up!
It was Liam, her son, her most precious treasure. Only after she left the country did Natalie realize that she was pregnant. Although she was all alone, Natalie decided to raise him on her own.
Here you go. You'll be flying to first class.
Come on, I'm sorry. Are you serious? Is this an airplane or kindergarten? Take the tickets away from her, please.
Natalie couldn't believe the audacity of this man, and they got into an argument. Liam was looking at the man intently, and he noticed something. He stood quiet for 2 seconds before hurling himself at Bryce and then shouted, "Daddy!" Natalie and Bryce were completely taken aback.
Liam, what are you doing? It's not funny making jokes about this.
Hey, why don't you give him a proper family?
Whoa.
Don't you dare tell me and my son how to live our lives. Liam, come on.
Hey, Natalie.
Cheryl held Nick's hand and smiled, leaning on his shoulder. Natalie thought that she no longer felt anything for them, but after seeing this, the hatred in her heart skyrocketed. Her stepsister and her ex-fiancé were getting married.
Mister, you forgot your wallet.
Did it fell out? Or maybe you pulled it out?
Before Nick and Cheryl could humiliate them further, Natalie jumped in to say that Liam was her son.
Wait. Don't tell me you gave birth after you cheated on Nick.
Nick, who had been standing beside his fiancée without saying anything, called Liam illegitimate. Natalie almost couldn't believe that this man standing in front of her, calling her son illegitimate, was the same person she had loved back then. The slap was loud and clear.
If you say that again, you'll get a second one. It goes for you too. Fraud.
Cheryl's face turned red on being called a fraud.
How dare you? Do you think that because you're a woman, I won't do anything to you?
Don't touch my mom.
Darling, there you. I've been looking for you everywhere. I was getting worried.
Dad!
Natalie hadn't expected the man who had been so rude to her to actually help her. When Liam said daddy, both Nick and Cheryl froze. Natalie didn't know why he was helping her.
Thanks for your help.
I just don't like what those two were saying, that's all.
Liam, who was sitting next to her, once again thanked his daddy for helping them out.
To have a baby with a woman, at least she needs to be attractive.
These words stabbed Natalie's sore spot and her expression hardened.
Stop the car. Stop the car, please.
She didn't want to say anything else. Bryce looked at her in confusion. When the car stopped, she got out, removed their luggage, took $100 from her wallet, and threw it on the car seat.
It's for the taxi. Thank you for your help. I hope I never see you again.
Natalie quickly stepped forward to hug her granny. Her heart warmed and her eyes filled with tears.
How much suffering have you endured while you've been away?
Hello, I'm Liam.
Her grandmother was the closest person in the world to her. Naturally, she was overjoyed to see her precious granddaughter and delighted to meet Liam. She doted on him, wishing that she could keep him locked up in her heart.
Hello again, sis. Daddy asked us to come. He wants to see you right away.
She didn't want to have anything to do with her family anymore, but she still hadn't made this clear, so she needed to talk to her father face to face.
I've sent you out of the country to think about your behavior. Instead, you've brought some strange kid here.
Hello, I'm Leah.
I will never accept him as the part of the Davidson family.
He's your grandson.
Don't you dare call him that.
Liam is my son, and I don't care if you accept him or not.
And then turned around and left with Liam.
Natalie, please wait.
What? What do you want from me? Did you come here to insult me even more?
I just want to ask you something, okay? What did you mean when you called Cheryl a fraud yesterday?
What?
You the fraud. You cheated on me behind my back.
Are you done? I had been set up, and you just walked away. You didn't give me an ounce of trust. So stay with your Cheryl now. You both deserve each other.
What do you mean? You were set up.
To know more, swipe left and download the Pocket FM app.